Manila Mayor Francisco Isko Moreno Dumacoso, Vice Mayor Angela Lei Chi I. Atienza, Congressman of the 3rd District of Manila, Attorney Joel R. Chua, to our dear Schools Division Superintendent, Ms. Cheryl P. Gayola, CESA 5, Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Reynaldo S. Pineda Jr., to our beloved school principal, Ms. Mercedita Insigne, to our dearest assistant principal, Ms. Anita R. de Guzman, to our school administrators, faculty, and staff, to our guest speaker, Philippine Coast Guard spokesperson for the West Philippine Sea, CJ Rear Admiral Dr. J. Tristan Tariela, honored guests, to our parents, and to my fellow graduates, a blessed day to everyone. Ad astra per meriora, through hardships we reach the stars. This Latin phrase has echoed through history, often used by those who looked at the horizon and dared to dream. It is a reminder that the stars, our highest goals, are not reached by luck, but by the constant pursuit of something better. This pursuit has been the quiet rhythm of our past years. We did not just learn the definition of this phrase, we lived it. We realized that reaching the stars is not a solo flight reserved for the perfect. It is a collective climb made by those of us who are still learning how to fly in the dark. Think back to those nights when the world was quiet but our minds were loud. We remember the flickering light of a laptop screen, the black pages that seemed to mock our efforts, and the technical blueprints for essays that felt like mountains we were not yet ready to climb. In those hours, we were not defined by our strands or rankings. We were not the achievers, the creatives, or the leaders. We were just tired teenagers, huddled over our desks, wondering if the version of the future we were working for was actually meant for people as imperfect as us. We realized then that the hardest part of our education was not the curriculum itself. It was the quiet, heavy task of carrying our own doubts while the rest of the world slept. And in that shared silence, a single question began to linger in our hallways, echoing every classroom, regardless of the path we chose to take. It is the question we all carried, but rarely spoke aloud. Are we only valuable when we are succeeding? Or is it the version of us that is tired, lost, and struggling, still worthy of this stage? When we ask that question, we are not just looking for an answer. We are acknowledging a shared secret. Because let's be honest, we became experts at pretending. We have all sat in our classrooms feeling like frauds, worried that if our teachers, our parents, or even our friends saw our drafts, the messy notes, the failed attempts, the midnight breakdowns, they would not see the graduates standing here tonight. They would see the struggle. That feeling of being small against a backdrop of giant expectations is the invisible thread that ties every single one of us tonight. We were not just studying. We were hiding parts of ourselves that did not feel ready yet. This is where our true strength lies, not in the performance, but in the heartbeat of our batch. We often felt the quiet pressure to have every answer memorized and every step of our future perfectly mapped out, as if we were already finished products. But we have learned that our true growth was not found in the subject we mastered, but in the moments we felt we were failing. Whether we were solving complicated equations or analyzing the world around us, we all faced the same midnight shadows of not being enough. Our journey was not defined by how easy it was, but by the grit it took to stay. We were a generation that learned how to doubt, but then chose to continue anyway. That brings us to the core of why we are here tonight. To be prepared to lead with competence and character. We often hear those words as finished state, as if by putting on these gowns, we have suddenly reached the peak of our abilities. But as we look at one another, we know that true competence was never found in the perfect scores or the flawless presentations. It was found in the skill to keep trying, even when our logic failed, and the resilience to research for a solution when the path was blocked. And character, that was not born in our successes. It was forged into quiet moments we chose to be patient with ourselves and kind to each other when the pressure was at its peak. We are prepared to lead, not because we never failed, but because we learned how to fail forward. But let us be honest with ourselves and with everyone watching. We are still works in progress. If the world looks at us and sees capable graduates, we look at each other and still see the gaps. We know that in so many ways, we are still lacking. Our skills are raw, our voices sometimes shake, and we still stumble over our own uncertainties. Yet, perhaps this is the most honest form of preparation there is. By admitting we don't have all the answers, we have learned the humility to listen. By struggling with our lack of skill, we have learned the true value of the process. We are not standing here because we are perfect. We are standing here because we have finally understood that our imperfections are exactly where our leadership begins. So what do we do now? We face a future still unmapped. But we have realized something so important. We do not have to be perfect to be prepared. We are ready because we have already survived the silence of our own doubts. We move forward by choosing character over the pressure to be perfect. We lead not by having all the answers, but by having the grit to find them. Tonight, we don't claim to be finished. We claim the courage to keep going. That is how we know, kaya na natin. And as we stand here with this courage, we know we did not build it alone. Behind every we that survived the silence of the night, there were those who held the light for us until we were ready to shine. To the author of our light, our God, you were the whisper of hope when the silence of the night felt too heavy. For every prayer answered in the middle of a breakdown, and for being the steady hand that carried us when our strength failed, tonight we return the glory to you. To our parents and families, the silent astronomers of our lives, you saw the stars in us long before we began to shine. For every meal prepared with love, for every unspoken sacrifice, and every moment you believed in us when we could not believe in ourselves, this achievement is as much as yours as is it ours. To my own family, I know the next chapter will ask more of us, but I carry your love as my gravity. I may be the quiet observer in our home, but please know that I love you in ways that no formula can fully capture. To our school, Jose Abad Santos High School, you have been my home for the last 2 years. I stand here today deeply thankful and grateful that Abad has been my home, and for all the experiences I have felt within these walls. You were the silent witness to our struggles, and the steady ground beneath us as we learned to reach for the stars. Within these classrooms, we were not just names on a class list. We were works in progress, finding our footing in the dark. To our teachers, our silent heroes and the navigators of our resilience, you saw in us the potential that was still hidden beyond our doubts. Thank you for your radical patience and for reminding us that growth is not captured by a percentage on the screen, but by the character we forged in the refining fire of your classrooms. You were more than educators. You were the anchors that kept us from drifting. To my advisors for the past 2 years, Sir Richard Molina and Miss Christine de la Cruz, you nurtured not just my intellect, but my spirit. As I turn this page, I carry with me every lesson, every shared laugh, and the inspiration to one day be as purposeful as you. To our friends and our classmates, those who did not just witness this journey, but breathe life into it. You were the unexpected laughter in the middle of an exam week, and the steady hand that kept us grounded when the pressure felt like it might pull us under. To my 11 understanding and my 12 knowledge, our names were never just labels on the door. They were the principles we lived by. In our first year together, we learned the depth of understanding, that no one carries the burden alone. This year we sought knowledge, not just to pass, but to find our place in the world. We were not just sections. We were a refuge where it was finally safe to be human. In a world of shifting variables and mounting expectations, you were the constants that held the equation of my life together. Thank you for standing by me, especially during the moments when I was too tired to stand for myself. We did not just share a curriculum, we shared a life. And as we leave today, we carry more than just a piece of paper. We carry the quiet, unspoken courage we built together in the back of those classrooms when no one else was watching. And to our fellow Abadians, our paths through these halls were different, but the fire that refined us was fueled by the same grit. Whether we were balancing equations, analyzing society, or mastering a technical craft, we all faced those same midnight shadows of not being enough. And we all shared the same defiant mornings of choosing to try again anyway. Beyond the formulas, the essays, and the technical blueprints lies our true legacy. We are Abadians who remain standing. We are a testament to the fact that while we may speak different languages of learning, we all share the same heartbeat of resilience. This victory is not divided by our strengths. It is multiplied by our unity. This moment belongs to every single one of us. Lastly, to the child who felt small against the backdrop of her own dreams, I see you. Thank you for showing up when you were tired. Thank you for enduring the confusion, the late night tears, and the quiet fear that you would not make it. Every step you took in the dark led me to the stage. I am sorry for the times I was too hard on you, but I owe you more than just success. I owe you the peace of knowing that your bravery was enough. We made it. The future ahead of us is uncertain. Life is filled with twists and turns, with trials and errors, with triumphs and losses. And yes, it is frightening. But maybe that is what makes it meaningful. Because we now know what it means to keep going, even when we are unsure. We now know what it means to stand up, even after doubting ourselves. We now know that even in the darkest nights, we are capable of becoming something brighter. Tonight is not just an ending. It is a turning of a page. A quiet beginning of something we have yet to fully understand. And wherever life takes us, may we all carry with us not just the knowledge we gain, but the strength, the courage, and the love that brought us here. I am Rosell B. Villasin, a proud graduate of Batch 2026, standing here not just as one person, but as a voice for all of us who lived through this chapter and are ready for the next. Ad astra per meliora. Through hardships, we will reach the stars, always under the same sky. Thank you and congratulations to us all.